Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today in Orlando to share with you some insights about SEA-TAC International Airport, and in particular our experience with FOD detection radar. That's been in operation for about 2 years now at SEA-TAC. So while I have this slide in front of us, the runway that's subject to the conversation today is the center runway, the one that's right in the middle of the screen there. That's runway 16 center. With its reciprocal, obviously, 34C back to the north. And this is a southerly view looking toward Puget Sound and beautiful Seattle. This photo was taken just as construction began on that center runway some 2 years ago. And then that brings us to 2015 and the first installation of the first airport-funded FOD detection system in the United States, following on the heels of the great work that Boston Logan did. And I want to say right up front that I'm a huge fan of this technology. Professionally, I'm agnostic as to the technology that an airport operator chooses, but I'm personally a very big fan of the technology that we have in place at SEA-TAC. Ground incidents and wildlife strikes. And to this we want to add FOD because I think it's an insidious threat that not enough is being done to address in our industry. It's only a matter of time, and I don't think we as professionals can tolerate or accept a repeat of the 2000 accident with the Concorde at Charles de Gaulle. To me, it's a matter of when, not if. And so we need to be vigilant in this regard, and the only way you do that is by establishing a baseline of data that can really tell you where you are and then determine the gap analysis and what you need to do for countermeasures. So on to the heart of the system. The project scope obviously involved design, construction, testing, and training. So here are some milestones very quickly. Obviously in Seattle the construction season is quite short, usually May through the end of October. And so I had my real doubts about being able to incorporate new technology into an already challenging full replacement of a 43-year-old concrete runway. It was built in 1972 and hadn't been replaced in all those years, so I had my doubts about being able to pull this off, but it was without incident whatsoever. In fact, it was an outstanding demonstration of just the collaboration and partnership between our IT department and the vendor, Xsight, the manufacturer, Veric, the installer, and Leidos, who did the A&E work for us. So just a tremendous example again of what can be done with the partnership. Everybody wants to know what the cost is, so here you see about $4.6 million for the product itself, and then the ancillary costs that go along with that. So even with that, we were over $1 million under budget for this. And what was amazing to me as sponsor of this project is that we got absolutely zero pushback from our airline partners. We have a majority in interest clause, so any capital program that's over $2.5 million has to go for majority in interest, 55% of the landed weight, 55% of the revenues, 55% of the carriers that are signatories to the airline agreement. No pushback from our elected commissioners, and the project proceeded quite quickly from that point on. And this is the beauty of this particular system in my mind, and that is the elegance of the solution in that it's built into runway edge lights. So contained in this runway edge light then there is the radar system, the camera system, a bird harassment speaker system, and a laser pointer that can help assist airfield specialists out there that are looking to locate the FOD that's been identified by the system itself. FOD detections. So you see a Mylar balloon out there, a metal component of unknown origin, a screwdriver of unknown origin, although we think it came out of a wheel well of a departing aircraft. And then the lower right is a funny story. My airfield manager came into the office one day and said, "We had 4 alerts this morning, boss." And I said, "Well, tell me about it." He said, "Well, the first was a worm making its way onto the shoulder of 16 Center. The second was a crow alighting to investigate the worm. The third was the ingestion of the worm by the crow, and the fourth was the departure of the crow." So it's really amazing what the system is able to capture and identify. And I know the questions that are being asked in your minds now, well, you know, is it overly sensitive? And I would say not, but it's just demonstrative of what's capable out there. These are more insidious threats. Earlier this year, April of 17, tire chunks This resulted in 4 distinct alerts because there were rubber shrapnel or rubber fragments on many areas of the surface which needed to be collected. And then on the bottom, this was a piece I was going to bring along with me from Seattle, but figured the TSA would snag it on my way out. This was an aluminum component. Again, no carrier has come forward to claim it. We don't even know what part of the 37 it is. It's about 18 inches in length and probably 10 inches wide. So imagine hitting this with the main gear at 150 knots and throwing it up or ingesting it. So these are real world threats, and again, my emphatic passion about this topic and the need for this kind of vigilant monitoring. So in the future, what we'd like to do is incorporate 24/7 recording capability. We're working with Xsight right now to bring that online because, again, it can really serve a purpose in terms of forensics. The last time that we received Air Force One with President Obama, we were able to film the touchdown and the arrival of that. We've used it on numerous occasions for purposes other than FOD. It's an excellent camera system that can be used for many, many purposes. In fact, Sunday we received our first snow of the year, and we were able to just pull up the field condition reports via the cameras and validate and indeed supplement the physical observation that we had an eighth of an inch of slush on 16 center. So it's proven invaluable also for surface contamination, just an extra benefit that we weren't really thinking about, but which has really paid off with additional benefit. Why use this technology? Well, obviously, runways are your production system. They're your assembly line, and without that, nothing else makes any difference, as Phil Brown said this morning. You need that runway production for the rest of the airport to function. And so, again, I'm extremely bullish on this technology. I'd be happy to share my experience with you and others that are interested in making this a part of your infrastructure in the future. To me, it should be standard equipment.